On the day of Grandpa's funeral, I slipped a phone into the pocket of his suit when no one was looking. As the coffin was lowered, the phone was buried with him. I did it just to have a keepsake. At least I could send him messages, like I was still talking to him. That night, I gathered my courage and sent Grandpa the first text. But the next morning, to my shock, the phone got a reply. I ran to tell my dad, saying Grandpa might not actually be dead. We had to open the coffin and check. But Dad just shook his head and said I was crazy. He reminded me that the coroner had already done an autopsy to determine the cause of death. They even removed Grandpa's heart. There was no way he was still alive. As for the text, Dad thought the phone might have been hacked, but I knew that was impossible. The message used a special letter code, something only Grandpa and I knew. No outsider could have understood it. Unable to convince Dad, I went to the cemetery alone. I called the phone buried in the coffin. It rang for a long time, but no one answered. If he was really alive and could text, why wouldn't he pick up? The matter went unresolved, and life slowly returned to normal. I pushed it all to the back of my mind, until one day, at the school dance, I finally worked up the nerve to ask a girl in class to dance. I had no idea it would anger the school bully. He dragged me outside, said nothing, and started beating me. Before he left, he twisted my body into a humiliating pose, a final act of public shame. Luckily, my homeroom teacher showed up in time and pulled me out. He helped clean my wounds and even offered to testify against the bully, but I declined. I didn't want to worry Dad, and I was afraid that if things escalated, the retaliation would be worse. So after I got home, I told everything to Grandpa through that buried phone. I just needed an emotional outlet. I never actually wanted revenge. But the next morning, I heard the news. The bully was dead. I rushed to the scene and saw the police carrying away his body. What shocked me most was the way he died. He was face down, arms crossed in the exact same position I was left in the day before. Everyone said it was an accident, but I knew something else was going on. That night, back home, I called the buried phone and whispered into the receiver. I didn't really want him to die. If this had anything to do with you, knock on the wall 3 times. I set the phone down and waited in silence. The room was dead quiet. Then suddenly the phone rang. It was a call from Grandpa.